thing which I greatly feared has come upon me. And that which I was afraid of has come upon me. Neither was I quiet, yet trouble came. She is known as Dr. Sister Ego to all her patients at the Rural Hospital in Barraco. As she looks at each of us in turn, her luminous eyes are careful, compassionate. She explains our mission, that she has brought me to visit her favorite patient, Tamiklo, who is waiting daily for death to come. We sit cautiously, silently, respectfully, wondering how to begin. After a moment, she asks him, "Is this okay with you, Tamiklo, to share your story with us?" He laughs nervously and shifts his skeletal body on the thin mattress. It is stifling, with a heavy scent of stale sweat in the room, and I am relieved when Sister Margaret asks, "May we open the window?" When she pushes the shutter back, I notice that there are no glass panes in the window frame, only thick metal bars, black and rusted. As we wait for Tamiklo to speak, the air slowly circulates through the room, and my eyes roam from the thin mattress to the battered wooden table to the bare cinder block walls, which are decorated only with a garish plastic clock and an old African wildlife calendar. It is open to December 1991, and a photo of antelope running across the savannah. Beside Tamiklo sits Abba Mpansa, his mother-in-law, an older woman whose large, strong face almost resembles a warrior's mask. She guards him, sitting stiffly but nobly, his protector, his comforter, his watchful army. Abba Mpansa bows her head as if in prayer, and when she raises it, she looks at me, first warily, then with cautious acceptance, and says, "Welcome, Akwaba, you are welcome." She then turns to Tamiklo and speaks a few phrases in Fanti, the local language. Sister Margaret translates, Mrs. Empansa has given us permission. We can begin. Sister Margaret met me at the junction, and we continued in her Jeep along the rutted dirt road to Tamaclo's house. We needed this short time together for her to brief me on his past and present condition, and for me to ask my initial questions of her preceding the interview. I learned that for the past 3 years, Tamaclo had lived away from his wife in Burkina Faso, and like so many others in his situation, had found himself a girlfriend. While in Burkina, he worked as a tailor, and when he first discovered his illness, he blamed it on a bad needle which had pricked him as he stitched together strips of kente cloth. There was no mention of the girlfriend. His once elegant, now bony fingers smoothed his saffron-colored tunic, and he says, I made these clothes when I was well. Look at me. They are too big now. He looks tearful, then embarrassed, and Sister Margaret reassures him, it's okay, Tamaclo, for a man to cry. He nods and continues. I became sicker and weaker, and I couldn't work, and then I was told to leave the family compound. They were afraid of getting my sickness. So I left and traveled from village to village, working a bit when I was strong enough just to earn my keep. I was frightened and ashamed. I was too ashamed even to go to my mother's village for help. I felt dirty, like a sinner. He continues. Sister Margaret helped me. She brought me to the hospital when I was weak with fever. She brought me food when I was hungry, and she gave me aspirin for the pain. And so many, many times she told me it wasn't my sinning that brought this on. One day my junior sister came to the hospital with a message from my mother-in-law. She said I should return to the family compound. Tamaclo reaches over and takes Abba Empansa's hand. They both smile. I'm glad to be home again, and lucky that sometimes I'm able to work. Abba Empansa has given me the use of her husband's sewing machine. By the end of the day, I can finish a blouse and 2 aprons and can earn 100 cedis for the family. Abba Empansa squeezes Tamaclo's hand again. She is clearly proud of him. She seemed pleased that he has told his story and that we have listened. I now imagine him, this orange-clad skeleton hunched over an ancient, manually operated sewing machine, stitching together bright batik fabrics, sewing purpose and order back into his tattered life. 100 cedis, he repeats. It is not much, but it is enough. There is not much needed now. There is so little time left. And I calculate. 10 oranges, 1 ballpoint pen, a half a loaf of bread. That is all one can buy with 100 cedis. in funeral positions of smoke or solitary embankments. From now on, I see him hurtling into his death. And behind him, I hear the days of time closing. Mrs. Abba Ampansa is the bread baker who owns and operates her own clay oven in the center of the village. For the past 10 months, this gap-toothed, illiterate woman has been faithfully attending Sister Margaret's women's group. And today, sitting next to Tamiklo, her swollen baker's hands clasped firmly in her lap, Abba Ampansa tells her story. Before I joined the ladies' group, there were certain things I did not know. I thought the entire family would get AIDS from breathing the same air as Tamiklo. Just having him around, the whole family would get sick. We were all afraid. It was my duty to tell him to go. It was a great shame for the entire family. She sighs deeply, looks at Tamiklo with tear-clouded eyes, and continues. And it was a very great burden for me to ask him to go. Of all the men in the family, I had always cared for Tamiklo the most. She smiles in recollection. So many evenings when the embers burnt out in my oven, Tamiklo would come for me with a lantern and walk me back to the compound. We'd sit under the mango tree and share some palm wine. I'd tell him stories of my childhood, and we would laugh together. She stops, obviously troubled by what she is about to say. I was wrong to have sent Tamiklo away, and I was afraid that he would not find it in his heart to forgive me. I sent his junior sister to the hospital to deliver this message. Please, Tamiklo, come home. I will care for you. She reaches over and takes his hand in hers. As he leans toward her, the light from the barred window casts a shadow across his bony face. Abba Ampansa's eyes grow dim with painful memories, and with the pain yet to come. I am weary with sighing. Every night he floods my bed with weeping. He drenches my couch with his tears. My eyes are dimmed with sorrow. After the family turned me out, I lived like a dog, Temeclos says, with surprisingly little bitterness in his voice. I roamed from village to village, working when I was strong enough, eating whatever I could find. I asked for nothing and expected nothing in return. You know, I was once an Asafo warrior. They are hunters. When I was still a teenage boy, they chose me for my strength, speed, and accuracy. After I got sick, I joined the men for the annual deer hunt, just after the rains finished, but I could not keep up. The men laughed and joked. "Oh, Tamaclo, you are no longer a young boy. Your blood is thin, your legs are weak. You need the help of the herbal doctor. He's got a potion to strengthen you." But I knew full well that there would be no herbs that would make me better. And so I remained quiet when the men joked. Tamaclo pauses, and when he continues, he offers this fervent plea. "I hope that 10 years from now, if another young man, an Asafo warrior just like me, is sick with AIDS, things will be different. If we must die, let it not be like hogs hunted and penned in an inglorious spot. While round us bark the mad and hungry dogs, making their mock at our accursed lot. If we must die, though before us lies the open grave. Like men, we'll face the murderous, cowardly pack. Pressed to the wall, dying but fighting back. It stocks a number of imported antibiotics, manufactures its own saline and glucose solutions, and dispenses anti-malarial medication as casually as gumdrops. In Ghana, malaria comes frequently, like colds or toothaches. AIDS, however, is treated only with aspirin. Sister Margaret sees that Tamaclo is growing tired. We will take our leave soon, Tamaclo. You must rest. He nods, for our visit has been long and draining. I need some more medicine for the pain, Dr. Sister. Lately it has been hard for me to sleep. Sister Margaret opens her purple knapsack and pulls out a container of aspirin from which she counts 18 pills. Take 2 every 6 hours. I will bring you more at the end of the week. But here is something for you to enjoy now. She says this as she rummages through her cavernous bag. She hands him a bottle of schnapps. Share this with your mother-in-law. You never know what stories she'll tell you after a few shots of this stuff, as she winks at Abba Umpansa. And here's something to keep you looking sharp when you go to town, she says, waving a pair of green aviator sunglasses in front of him. Wear these, and you'll glow in the dark. But do me a favor. Don't tell anyone where you got them, or I'll have to buy a case for the entire village. my tongue cleaves to my jaw. He was a fierce hunter, a top soccer player, and a fine drummer. He could drink palm wine late into the night and beer at 10 a.m., and he always had a story or a joke to tell. On weekends, he made regular visits to his nieces and nephews to make sure that they were in fact going to the village school and were keeping up with their studies. These days, Tamiklo makes no visits and receives few visitors. He says he hopes that after the harvest things will change and people will have time for an old friend. There are, however, two who are unfailing in their devotion. The radical nun from America and the mother-in-law who went to a ladies' meeting one night and left her old beliefs behind. Gaudiest Western-style t-shirt I could find. I had his name embossed across the back in large white block print letters. I mailed it off right away, and a week later I received a message from Mrs. Apansa. The shirt fit Tamiklo perfectly, and that he wore it for the first time for Sister Margaret when she made her weekend visit. I want to die while you love me, while yet you hold me fair, while laughter lies upon my lips and lights are in my hair. I want to die while you love me. I could not bear to see the glory of this perfect day grow dim or cease to be. I want to die while you love me. Oh, who would care to live till love has nothing more to ask and nothing more to give? I want to die while you love me and bear to that still bed your kisses. Turbulent, unspent, thing which I greatly feared is come upon thee.